In 1976, as it circled in orbit around Mars, the Viking One spacecraft was tasked with photographing the planet's surface and transmitting the images back to Earth for analysis. The purpose was to help NASA select a suitable landing site for its sister craft, Viking 2. By late July of that year, Viking 1 had returned 18 images of a region in the northern hemisphere of Mars, an area never before surveyed. What NASA did not anticipate at the time was that one of those photographs would ignite the imagination of the public for decades to come. Mars, the second closest neighbor to Earth, is a cold and lifeless world, circling the Sun at an average distance of 142 million miles. Humanity has yet to set foot on this small, inhospitable planet, or perhaps once did, though not in our era. Without question, Mars represents the next great stepping stone in mankind's journey to explore the solar system. But could the connection between humankind and the red planet be deeper than we have long assumed? At first glance, the photograph from 1976 revealed little more than a vast, unremarkable plateau, barren and featureless. Yet, when examined more closely, in an area of barely 25 square miles, the mission team was astonished to discover something that appeared to be a gigantic face staring back at them. This face seemed to be surrounded by other structures that bore the faint impression of artificial design, fueling speculation among those inclined toward suspicion. After a thorough review, however, NASA officials dismissed the image as nothing more than an optical illusion and chose to release the photograph nonetheless. The idea of civilizations on Mars had been a fixture of science fiction culture for over a century by that point, and when the image was made public a few weeks later, the imagination of the public erupted. Beyond the face, other features within the same region attracted attention, including a so-called city and a five-sided pyramid. Conspiracy theorists insisted such structures could not have been formed by natural means, though the majority of geologists firmly rejected this. Still, the region soon came to be known as the Cydonia complex, and the discovery inspired countless scientists and alternative historians alike. The sensationalism surrounding Cydonia eventually waned as the European Space Agency and NASA each released additional photographs of the area, captured from various angles and at higher resolutions. These new images revealed that the face was in fact nothing more than a massive mesa. The official explanation was that the interplay of sunlight and shadow had created the illusion of a human visage. In reality, the formation bore no genuine resemblance at all. Even so, some proponents of the theory of an ancient Martian civilization remained unconvinced, alleging that NASA and ESA had falsified the newer images to conceal the truth. For the most part, such believers were regarded as isolated voices, at least until 2004, when NASA's Spirit and Opportunity rovers touched down on the Martian surface and began sending back a stream of remarkable new photographs. A photograph taken by the Spirit rover in 2005 sat quietly in NASA's archives for nearly a decade, attracting little more than a passing glance. It was not until 2014 that sharper-eyed observers noticed something unusual, and suddenly all attention focused on a particular rock. On closer inspection, it bore a striking resemblance to a human skull, or at the very least, the cranial form of some humanoid creature half buried in the Martian dust. While it could easily be dismissed as pareidolia, the tendency to perceive familiar shapes in random patterns, even the most ardent skeptics conceded that the likeness to a human skull was nothing short of astonishing. Spirit continued to transmit further anomalies, rocks that appeared to mimic elongated skulls, similar to those unearthed in ancient Mayan sites and across other cultures. More recently, the Curiosity rover returned a host of additional images depicting strange, skull-like formations. These photographs convinced many that ancient civilizations may not only have traveled to Mars but perhaps even originated there. Across the Earth, countless prehistoric cave drawings and medieval paintings have been interpreted by some as depictions of UFO visitations or interactions with beings from beyond our world. While skeptics argue these interpretations are purely subjective, the possibility cannot be entirely dismissed. Tragically, in 2018, the Opportunity rover ceased responding. Yet both Spirit and Curiosity continue to beam back images to this very day, and among them are some that remain deeply puzzling. In July of 2014, a former United States Marine, using the pseudonym Captain K, came forward to the press claiming that he had spent 17 of his 20 years of naval service stationed on the Red Planet itself, charged with defending 5 human colonies against native Martian life forms. More astonishing still, he was not the first to go public with tales of these so-called Mars bases. 3 others, Michael Relf, Randy Kramer, and Corey Good, had likewise testified to the existence of facilities on the Moon and on Mars, as well as to a top-secret space program, all seemingly reinforcing Captain K's extraordinary account. Even Laura Magdalene Eisenhower, great-granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, has alleged that shadowy organizations once attempted to recruit her into a Martian colonization project spearheaded by the noted physicist Hal Puthoff. Once again, the photographs returned from the Martian probes helped to fuel this wave of disclosure, as many conspiracy theorists claim to have found evidence within them that suggested the red planet was not at all as NASA had portrayed. They pointed to several specific examples. Sasquatch. This image was said to show a creature resembling Bigfoot running along the side of a hill. While it may simply have been a rock formation, its coloration seemed strangely out of place against the surrounding landscape. The Guardian. In this picture, a small figure appeared to be sprinting toward the rover, one arm raised as though to ward off the intruder. Observers noted in particular the trail of dust behind it, which looked as if it were being kicked up in motion. The Watcher. This eerie photograph showed a small, dark silhouette standing atop a distant cliff, seemingly staring down at the rover as it passed by. Taken just before sunset, the image also appeared to capture some kind of light emanating from afar. Skeptics suggested it might be a form of gas venting, though such activity has never been documented on Mars. UFO. Finally, one image was claimed to capture an unidentified flying object gliding over the Martian surface in the afternoon sky. This case was considered especially compelling, as it could not be easily explained away as a bird or some other natural phenomenon. With numerous other alleged UFO photographs from Mars, the notion that this was merely a photographic anomaly proved difficult to accept. So then, do these images provide irrefutable proof that the probes were not alone on the red planet? Sadly, they do not. The photographs remain far from conclusive. The supposed bones and other anomalies are most likely nothing more than oddly shaped stones. And what of the secret space program and the Martian colonies reported by Captain K and other whistleblowers? Though their stories are undoubtedly intriguing, none of them has ever produced a shred of verifiable evidence to substantiate their claims. Until such proof is forthcoming, we are left only with the official narrative of humanity's gradual exploration of the solar system. Yet one should not allow that official stance to extinguish belief, should one be inclined toward such ideas. The prospect that humankind may once have set foot on Mars or even traced its origins there is undeniably alluring. The solar system has endured since time immemorial, and for those who believe in extraterrestrial life, the possibility that one day we might discover the fossil of an alien creature, whether within our own system or beyond, is far from impossible. And let us not forget, what we see in those images may yet hold a measure of truth. And that is the story for today. Thank you for watching until the very end. If you enjoy videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you receive a notification each time we release a new one.